So this is just a quick follow-up to the Frankentable video. This is the day after that was released. And I want to show you something. So this is it in its current state. I have replaced the head shell with an Audio-Technica MS9. And right now it's running a Stanton 681, I think. I think that's 681. I have an 881 too. But I want to show you the progression of my plinths here. So this is the Frankentable in all its glory. I'm probably going to rehome this. I may keep it. I don't know why I would keep it in this plinth, but I may keep it in this plinth just to, I don't know, because it was the first one I did. But I'll show you the progression. So this, I did this one, and then there's a video series that will come out, and it's on the Goodwill Find ARXA that I put into a new plinth, and it was the, well, like I said, it was the Goodwill Find one. But after the Goodwill Find one, I did this one. So my plinth building skills improved. The miters on this aren't exactly clean. This is maple, and maple I found is very unforgiving. I actually cut this plinth. The dimensions were too precise. I hate to say that, but the dust cover barely fits on this one. But I really dig the maple plinth on this. So, and this one works just perfectly, right? Sounds great. This one's running an Audio-Technica VM530, yeah, VM530EN, so it's elliptical nude. So then I went back to mahogany, right? Went back to and none, only like one of these is hooked up. And then I went back to mahogany, and I got my, let's see if I can get in a good position here, right? I wrapped the grain around the corners. The corners are much cleaner on this one. I cut the plinth to the proper size. The plinth might be a little bit small, but I just worked on another ARXA in maple, and that's going through the process of being re-veneered right now. So again, this plinth might be a tad bit small, but I'm working out my measurements. And I mean, it's not horrible. It's just the depth is a little bit shallow. The sides are pretty consistent with an ARXA, normal sized plinth. But the depth, I'm probably off by about maybe an 1/8 of an inch or maybe a 1/4 of an inch in the back. But this was natural. I didn't stain this one, so this is a stained mahogany. All right, sorry about my shadow, but this is a stained mahogany. This is a natural mahogany. This is the one corner that did not turn out well, and the lighting was crappy, so I didn't notice that it was kind of out of kilter there. So that was a bummer. I didn't notice that till after I put the poly on it. So, but again, these are all kind of works in progress. I think if I could spend the rest of my tech time just working on ARs, I would. And I think this is probably what I'm going to do. I'd like to get into one of these. I'm not going to overpay for an XR just to put it into a new plinth, but I'm always looking for those did I say XR? ARs. I'm always looking for the ones that are basket cases that, as long as I have a tone arm and a motor and the platter and the T-bar suspension, I don't really care what the condition of everything else is, because I think I can cobble something together. I think that's all, but I wanted to show you that, the Frankentable, I have slowly improved my woodworking skills. I replaced my table saw. Again, some of the miters aren't real clean, but I found out that you have to really take a lot of time to set up your saws correctly to cut 45-degree miters. And I didn't do that. I bought one of those little digital protractors, and that thing was off. That thing is kind of useless. So now I do it manually. I have a, yeah, anyway. So basically, before I make any cuts, I set everything up, make sure it's as precise as I can get it. And then one other mistake I was making is I was trying to glue the entire plinth at one time. I may cut away and show you the one I'm working on now and show you how the cuts are a little bit more precise. I think I'll do that. Well, one thing I forgot to mention before I get into looking at the other turntables is that I did figure out a way to cut the groove. So, right, this top plate actually extends right into a channel that I cut out around here. So I did figure that out. So, yeah, so this isn't sitting like it's not dropped down or anything like that. It's actually sitting, because that top plate comes about, I don't know, I think 3/8 of an inch is what I measured, 3/8 of an inch underneath that lip. So it's actually recessed in here. What I do is I use some, it's almost like a silicone adhesive to hold that plate in position. Plus I glue some wooden supports underneath to hold it up so it doesn't fall down. I could use the original metal clips and just epoxy them to the bottom of this and screw them into the sides. I may do that in the future, but you know, right now it's just kind of it's wedged in there and glued in there, so it's not going to go anywhere. And I made kind of a prototype plinth out of poplar and let that thing sit overnight, and I basically had to break this out of it, and man, what a nightmare that was. Once this glue dries, that stuff is together. Like, these plinths are solid. So anyway, I wanted to explain that before I move on to the other turntables. So actually, before I go in and show you the maple plinth, this is the ARXA that's going to be, or that is the subject of its own video that's out there. So this is just sitting in here. So this was the Goodwill Find ARXA, and put it in a new plinth. It's a pretty large plinth. I'm trying to come up with a standard size for all of these that hopefully will be as close to the original as possible. But, you know, so my goal is to be able to put an ARXA or XB into a plinth and use a J&B Audio standard size AR dust cover using 3/4 inch wood instead of the 1/2 inch, you know, particle board veneered wood that they used on their plinths. So it's kind of tough to do, but that's my goal. Other people have done it, so I just need to figure out how I'm going to accomplish that. I do have one more ARXA that's going to go into the maple plinth, and that one is sitting way up here on the top shelf, just kind of waiting. That plinth is actually in pretty good shape. If a beat up ARXA becomes available, I will use that one instead. But this is the one that I replaced the tone arm on, that I did not record. So anyway, yep. So let's go look at that maple plinth, and I'll talk to you about what's going on with that. Okay, so this is another maple plinth. It's drying in my kitchen because it's a little chilly out. This is being filmed in mid-October. But I've got my corners a little bit better. This was before I realized that I could tweak it a little bit better. Again, I still use that digital protractor, you know, angle measurement thing, whatever it is. And these are better, but they're still not as precise as I would like, right? So there's a little bit of a gap there. The corners themselves aren't too bad. And this is going to be for an ARXA. But again, maple is unforgiving, so I wanted to kind of challenge myself on this and see if I could do a little bit better job. So, yeah, the skills are improving a little bit. So maybe I'll shoot a video of this when it's done, just to put it out there, talk about what I did. But and then I had to chew up one of these corners, and yeah. So still work in progress. I haven't got my final process down for how to build these, but I'm working towards hopefully being able to, you know, churn one of these out. I'd love to do one of, you know, maybe 2 or 3 of these a year, just to keep my skill set, you know, ever improving, and hopefully get some of these back out to people that will appreciate, right, some custom AR turntables. So anyway, I think that's all I have. This was just, again, a follow-up. I do like the Frankentable. I may put that in a new plinth, or I may just keep it as is. I don't know. The nice thing is, you know, if you look hard enough, you can find AR turntable carcasses enough to you know, put a turntable into a new plinth for less than $200, $150, something like that. So I'm always looking for those parts units where I can do this. So anyway, as always, if you like what you see, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.